out. Serap sues President Bola Tinubu over failure to probe contractors in alleged 167 billion naira project fraud. On the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister hails Donald Trump's widely criticized plan to move Palestinians out of Gaza Strip. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Okpayemuni. A gas explosion in Sabon Wuse Tafar local government area of Niger State has destroyed several vehicles, shops and foodstuffs, leaving business owners counting their losses. The Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Babara, said that while no lives were lost, the destruction was extensive. The explosion occurred around 11 p.m. yesterday when a gas tanker was offloading at a local filling station. Reports said the blast sent shock waves through the community, causing panic among residents. The fire quickly spread, reaching a nearby petrol station and engulfing several shops and parked vehicles. Still in Niger State, an Assistant Superintendent of Police, Shafiu Bawa, has committed suicide in the state. Bawa was said to have taken his life by hanging himself. Spokesman of the Niger State Police Command, Wasiu Abiodun, said the incident occurred on February 8, 2025 at the 61 Police Mobile Force base in Kotagora. It is, however, unclear the motive behind the suicide. The police authorities said that the officer's body was removed from the scene and later released to the family for burial. Meanwhile, the command said it has launched an investigation to uncover the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident. In Anambra State, a celebrity native doctor popularly known as Akwa Okuko Chiwaraki Naba has been arrested by local vigilante operatives Agune Chamber. His arrest was confirmed in a short video posted on Anambra State news media handle on Facebook. The native doctor was apprehended in Oba Idemili South local government area of the state. He was taken to the office of the Deputy Governor, Oyeka Ibezim, for interrogation. According to a video circulated on social media, the Deputy Governor questioned him and Akwa Okuko denied involvement. In July 2023, the native doctor was kidnapped by gunmen and spent some days in captivity before a ransom was allegedly paid to facilitate his release. Staying with security, Secretary General of Arewa Consultative Forum, Murtala Aliyu, has urged the federal government to adopt a non-kinetic approach to addressing insecurity in the north. Aliyu said this while featuring at the News Agency of Nigeria Forum in Abuja. The ACF scribe expressed regret that the zone, which used to be a quiet and nice place to live, had now become an epicenter of insecurity.
Well, the security situation in the north is pathetic. Definitely, the north, which used to be a very quiet, nice place to live in and so on, today has become an epicenter of insecurity. Starting from the northeast, Boko Haram, to the farmers' hardest clash that led into banditry in north central and northwest, and eventually moving up to kidnapping. Various governments have made efforts, starting from Omori Yaradua to date. And actually of recent we have achieved some milestone, but there's a lot that needs to be done to address the security of the country. The movement from one place to another is still in bad shape in some locations. If you are moving, let's say, from Funtua to Gusau today, you should pray that you don't become a commodity, that you're not picked and then sold or marketed for certain ransom. If you are traveling between, let's say, Gusau and Namuda, there's a problem. From Funtua through Birnungwari, that road is almost dead. Kaduna Birnungwari is just waking up recently. And part of Damboa to Maiduguri is also unmotorable. Even from Biu to Damaturu is a risk. So there are still challenges in the insecurity dimension. And I think government must really take a step to address the approach to the solution. Government has mostly used the kinetic approach, and I think they need to expand it beyond the kinetic approach. I know in some cases the bandits have been engaged and some of them are really given up.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has arrested two suspected drug kingpins at Port Harcourt International Airport and Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, who excreted a total of 125 wraps of heroin. Ndlea spokesperson Femi Babafemi confirmed the arrest in a statement, revealing that one of the suspects, Onyekwanike Elochukwu Silvanus, operates under dual identities to evade detection. Silvanus was caught at Port Harcourt Airport on February 2, 2025, using a Sierra Leonean passport under the name Kargbo Mohammed Fode. Further investigations show that he alternated between his Nigerian and Sierra Leonean passports for drug trafficking across Thailand, Pakistan, Iran, and West Africa. The second suspect, James Chinoso, was arrested on February 1, 2025, at Lagos Airport after arriving from Madagascar via Ethiopia on an Ethiopian Airlines flight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Here in Osun State, residents have urged the state government, the House of Assembly, to ensure the implementation of legislation addressing the escalating cost of house rents, unchecked proliferation of house agents, and exorbitant fees imposed on tenants. In this report by River Firm's Joseph Atewe, they also say the fees have become a significant burden on them. In Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang has reaffirmed his administration's determination to combat illegal mining, which he says is a major factor behind the alarming rate of school dropouts in mining communities across the state. Speaking during a church service in Jos, the governor called on community and religious leaders to support the government in addressing this growing crisis, which he described as a direct threat to Plateau's future. He expressed deep concern over recent findings indicating a sharp decline in school enrollment in key mining areas such as Bassa, Riam, Jos South, and Barakin Ladi. Governor Mutfwang urged community leaders to take responsibility for sensitizing their people, present by the government in collaboration with religious institutions would launch an intensive enlightenment campaign to reverse the trend. Beyond education, the governor highlighted the environmental devastation caused by illegal mining, warning that unchecked activities were leading to land degradation, destabilization of residential areas, and threats to government institutions. We now go back to that report that here in Osun State, residents have urged the state government and the House of Assembly to ensure the implementation of legislation addressing the escalating cost of house rents, unchecked proliferation of house agents, and exorbitant fees imposed on tenants. In this report by River Firm's Joseph Atewe, they also say the fees have become a significant burden on them.
Many residents of Osun State are calling on the state government to address the soaring fees imposed by estate agents, which they say have made securing affordable accommodation increasingly difficult and stressful. This public outcry arises from dissatisfaction with the exorbitant fees demanded by house agents who are often accused of profiteering. Some residents even suggest that many of the agents are allegedly fraudsters exploiting vulnerable Nigerians under the guise of real estate dealings, while others accuse agents of inflating rent prices enterprises to earn higher commissions, further exacerbating the housing crisis. Mrs. Adelabu Abishola and Mr. Michael Omotosho, residents of Oshobo, explained their deal in the hands of house agents and why they want a quick intervention from the Osun State government.
It's not funny because they are too, let me say, callous. The price they ask is so ridiculous, especially when it comes to total package, caution fee, agency fee, blah, 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 things like that. So they are callous, selfish interests.
The house agent in this Oshobo, seriously, it has been a very, very, very terrible one. I will not lie to you because I could remember 2 years ago, it happened to me personally when I want to get a 2-bedroom apartment in front of Akin's brother, and I met like 3 agents. The first one told me 2-bedroom is 400,000, the total package is 650. I was like, 650 for total package, that's too much now. Just reduce this thing for me. Even if the house is not up to that amount that you call it, then I meet the second agent, which is the intermediary between the real agent itself.
On their part, the Youth Assembly of Nigeria, Osun State Chapter, through their majority leader, Honorable Alexandra Adeyeye, called on Osun State House of Assembly to immediately implement the housing regulation law and the establishment of a regulatory body to monitor and control the activities of house agents, which is getting out of hand. They further disclosed that if by the 17th of this month no meaningful action is taken, they will mobilize and lead a massive protest across all constituencies in the state. The majority leader also stated that the suffering of the people has reached a limit, hence the protests will be indefinite.
The protesting is that the agents, those people calling themselves estate agents in Osun State, majorly in Osogbo, they've been extorting people of charges. They are overcharging people even to the extent that the house owners are even complaining. Instead of them to have a particular amount of, like let's say a percentage of, if it is house rent is 120,000 naira, normally maybe your charges will be 5% or 3%. We should be aware, and we've been laying emphasis on this for like 2 or 3 times. And recently we had the governor and the House of Assembly actually talk about the bill that they are going to do something to stop all these things. But ever since then, they've not actually implemented all they have talked about. So now we wrote another letter. We say to them to help us regularize all these issues that we are having with the agent. But ever since then, we didn't hear anything from them.
Earlier, we spoke to the National President Association of Professional Real Estate Managers, Mr. Babari Misalikon, who disclosed that the body is doing everything possible to wipe out fake agents by enforcing arrests. He said agents are only supposed to get 20% of the amount paid to landlord, as against what is currently practiced. He also called on the Osun State government to quickly implement the bill that will put an end to what he described as a disgrace.
The professional fee for the letting is 10% agreement and then 10% commission. Most of the agents has abused it. When you meet an agent, maybe you need a house of 300,000 naira or house of 200,000 naira. When you ask of the total package for the one of 200,000 naira, the agent may be asking you for 300 or 400, which is overcharging. And everybody knows that the percentage, the professional fees an agent supposed to charge is 10% agreement and 10% commission, which is the professional fee for the 200,000 rent. The 10% is 20,000 naira. While the other one, which is agreement, is 20,000 naira, which is 240. But you will be see an agent that will be charging you 300,000, which is not good, is not fair. We have been fighting for it, being the president and then the other committees. We have disciplinary committee, which chaired by Mr. Emmanuel. We don't even allow that.
Mr. Lekon also blamed residents for being too desperate when searching for a house, hence falling in the wrong hands.
Very easy for prospective tenants to identify agent. Let's call it agent the way you will understand me. It's very easy. When you meet somebody, at least as you come in now, you can see my office, right? From there, you look up, you see the certificates. You as a prospective tenant, you first requested for my ID card. You request, when you meet an agent, you request for his ID card. Sir, please, I need 3-bedroom flat. Let me see your ID card. From there, when you enter his office, you look up. If you see certificate, you know that he is belong to one association. You understand? But a situation whereby maybe you are just moving along the road, you see somebody that call him or herself agent. You just speak with him. Please, I need also house. He couldn't take you to his office in order for you to see the necessary thing you're supposed to see in someone's office.
Some of the residents we spoke to disagreed with the president. They say it is not desperation from the people, but the selfish and wicked interests of the house agents that makes it difficult.
No, it's not their desperation. Because assuming you are going to a new town and you need an accommodation, you definitely need a house. So it's not desperation. It's selfish interest. That is what I'll classify it to.
Apart from the financial strain many residents experience, these agents' activities contribute to housing instability. Sometimes families are often forced to vacate homes they can no longer afford due to inflated costs imposed by agents, resulting in increased homelessness and stress. It is left to be seen how soon the Osun State government will intervene and put a lasting solution to this lingering problem that has cost many. Joseph Atewe, Western Spring Television News.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has taken legal action against President Bola Tinubu over his alleged failure to prosecute contractors who received over 167 billion naira from 31 ministries, departments and agencies for projects that were never executed. The lawsuit filed at the Federal High Court in Lagos also listed the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi as a respondent. In a statement by SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, it urged the court to compel President Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, to publicly name the contractors involved and ensure their prosecution. You're watching news at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come, the joint unions of Nasarawa State tertiary institutions to embark on indefinite strike from tomorrow. We'll bring you more on this when we return.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white suprematists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history.
Our comedy is winning fans globally, but we are losing our wildlife to illegal bushmeat, and this is not funny at all. If we continue this way, we will risk losing all our animals and leaving nothing behind for the generations to come. Tell your family and friends not to buy or sell illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Welcome back. This is still news at 7 on Western Spring Television. A reminder of our headlines. Several vehicles and shops destroyed following gas explosion in Tafa local government area of Niger State. In Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutwang links illegal mining to rising level of school dropouts. Serap sues President Bola Tinubu over failure to probe contractors in alleged 167 billion naira project fraud. On the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister hails Donald Trump's widely criticized plan to move Palestinians out of Gaza Strip. Academic and non-academic staff of higher education institutions in Nasarawa State under the joint unions of Nasarawa State tertiary institutions have announced plans to embark on an indefinite strike from tomorrow over the non-implementation of salary adjustments and promotions. The affected institutions include Isa Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic, Lafia, College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Lafia, the College of Education, Akwanga. In a statement by Justi Chairman Samson Bande, the Secretary Paul Olotu, the union cited the failure of a state government to implement the 30,000 naira minimum wage consequential adjustment, promotions, and the newly approved 70,500 naira minimum wage. The union accused the state government of ignoring the repeated demands and letters, including an ultimatum issued on January 15, 2025. And now to the foreign scene. Israeli